All right, Jason Rona here. We're at the 2016 IFMAR World Championships. We're here with Spencer Rivkin. Today we're starting the seating practice, and this is going to be official runs on the track today, which is going to determine kind of what the heats you're going to be in for qualifying. Spencer, you ran a little bit yesterday. We had some practice, which, there were some results based on seating 3 laps, but today's obviously more official. What are you seeing so far with the track here, and how you liking RC Tracks of Las Vegas?
Well, of course, RC Tracks Las Vegas has always been nice here. They always done a great job putting on a race. The track's evolving really nice. It's getting some character to it. Every section is getting a little bumpier and bumpier as the days go on. The practice yesterday was just another practice session. It didn't really matter, but people were still going nuts over the times. But today's more of an official, like you said, and we'll find a better idea who's getting up there in times and being really consistent. But yeah. So far, so good.
You can see behind us here, they're doing some watering and just trying to keep the track somewhat damp. What are you seeing with the consistency here so far? It's a long time from when you start race 1 to when they go to race 16 yesterday. Those 10-minute races are long, and it's going to be longer now with a warm-up included. What are you seeing with the conditions and the consistency so far?
The consistency has not really been there. I think that there's some parts of the day that the track's actually better when they water, and then other times that it's worse and so on. But I really think that they didn't really need a water for this particular event. I think they're just wasting their time and wasting people's time just watering. But it is what it is. It's going to be the same for everybody at some point because we'll all be on the track at one point together. At least the top guys will be. But it's definitely different, especially if you're in, like right now it's 65 degrees outside, and in about 3 hours it's going to be 80 degrees. So the guys that are up first, which is me, it's probably going to be a little slower, maybe a little quicker. We never know. The track has 6 different conditions. It gets really loose to like super loose to medium high light. It's crazy. The track changes so much, so it doesn't. You don't want to freak out too much because until you're on the track with the same guys, it doesn't matter because you never know if you can be a half a second slower in the first 5 heats, but realistically you can be a half a second faster when you're with them. So you never know.
What did at this point, what are you guys concentrating on back in the pits? Obviously we worked together on some tire stuff, but what are you guys concentrating on at this point? Within your team on just trying to get prepared for qualifying.
The biggest thing is just making the car just super easy to drive. It doesn't matter how fast your lap times are. We just want it to be easy to drive throughout the entire event. We're not looking for hot laps or anything. We just want it to be consistent throughout the 10-minute runs, especially when qualifying starts because it's going to get nuts, and then throughout the semis. But just making the car easy to drive, and then the top drivers will come out and battle in the main or semis.
There's a couple areas already starting to show some character out there. We're getting a couple bumps, one at the end of the front straightaway there coming out, which, it affects you because it's basically right where you want to drive. So you come down the straightaway, you turn into that 180, and all of a sudden there's a bump coming out, and so that kind of gets you disturbed there a little bit. And then right on the face of that roller, there's all of a sudden some big hole there, right? What are you guys going to do there? You're going to adjust kind of on the fly?
Yeah, basically we're going to have to adjust to see, once we get on the track, we have to find out what's going to be best to not attract those bumps and making the car unsettled throughout the run, and, going around them or trying to find your best line to not attract that. I think it's going to be quicker, especially when you're going to be racing together. If you hit the bump and your car gets sideways and you get loose, you spin out or whatever, it's just going to be slower. So as the track evolves, you're going to find and adjust to the different lines that are not going to make your car do what it shouldn't be doing.
What people usually can't see at home that I've noticed over the years is when it's windy out, you can't see that on video. Like, you can't see the actual wind affecting things, but when you're driving, you can feel the wind when you're driving, right?
Oh, absolutely, especially when you're up on the driver's seat freezing. Your whole body's shaking and shivering, and then you jump in the doubles, and your car's like flying through the air, and you're gonna have to whip it and all that stuff. It doesn't really affect when you're like on the ground, but especially when you're in the air, it has some effect. And then obviously when the wind comes up, the dust gets into the line, and it gets even looser. So there's so many variables that come up when that stuff like that happens. And I think when it gets windy, people get a little bit I wouldn't say nervous, but they get like a little tied up. Like, man, this it feels serious and all that. And that's kind of feeling that I love, and all that. But yeah, the wind you can't really see, but when you're at the facility and you're feeling it at the time, it's a great feeling, especially when you're on the track.
Yeah, I mean, more than likely, if you're watching and you see somebody do something really out of character, you're just like, what is this guy doing? You can attribute to maybe a little bit of wind. I mean, obviously, a lot of these guys are so good. I mean, if you're watching somebody and all of a sudden they have this fly away, and you're just like, well, that's not him, right?
Yeah, it's definitely, obviously, us the best drivers make a little bit of mistakes sometimes, but when you see something out of character, it's like, it's usually windy out, and you can see the flags across. It's crazy windy right now, but if you see someone like that in the air, it's definitely because of the wind.
Okay, you got any, kind of taking yourself out of the equation? Who'd you see was looking good out there across all the different teams yesterday, I guess?
Well, of course, David Gario. I don't know where he's from, Spain or whatever. He was driving really well. His car's looking really easy to drive. Mayfield was obviously out there, doing really great. Ty, obviously, WC. I think it's all the top drivers from every company is just gonna be great. I mean, I guess the top seed, Jared Tebow, one of the rounds, he's second so far, but it was just practice. The track's completely different today, and I think it's gonna be a different outcome. But it could be the same. But all the top drivers are gonna be right there with it at the end, and we'll see what happens at the end.
All right. Any predictions on what you say is who's gonna win practice today?
Who's going to win practice? Whoever tries to go the hardest in the practice. I'm not really looking for the top 3 fastest. I want to look at the whole 10-minute run. I want to see the whole 10-minute run times, and just because the guy whoever top seeds, I want to see his top 10 run. So that's what I'm looking for. Some guys, a little less experienced, they just look at the top 3, but I guess the more veteran guys, they look at the whole top 10 run. So hopefully no mistakes. And if you do, get right back in it and try to do your best. So top 10 overall finish is what I'm looking for.
All right, Spencer, thanks for coming out here with us. Cold and windy. We're having a good time. Ready to get started here in just a few minutes. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you a little bit later.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.